Well, this is the Oxford Renaissance Festival. It's our third year. Well, we call it the Renaissance and Medieval Fair because they get confused, right? Because Renaissance, what does Renaissance even mean? Renaissance was an era, right? So this means change. So we call it the Medieval Fair because we have a lot of things going on here, like live jousting, birds of prey. But on the other hand, we have a lot of, we also call it the Comedy and Music Festival, really, because there's so much comedy here. Like we have takes on Shakespearean, we have the Mud Show, we have Kudu that plays, we have Devil's Drink that's playing right now behind us. But just a lot of Celtic and comedy and really cool medieval stuff, and without the plague.
And the cool thing is, you don't have to necessarily be into that to come here.
And you're exactly right. That's why a lot of people, when they're like, oh, well, I'm not really into that, and I always say, what, comedy? You know, if you don't like comedy, then yeah, you probably don't want to come out. But if you're into comedy, then you're definitely welcome to come here. I mean, we don't have them here this year, but last year we even had a stormtrooper walking around, so there you go. It's kind of like geek culture, really, and it's a lot of fun. And I find that people that come out here are, just the most awesome people because they love this kind of stuff, right? So they just have such a great time when they come out.
And there's everything from animals to jewelry vendors here.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can get that, and that's actually a great thing to say because the vendors are very authentic. Everybody that has a vendor booth here makes 70% or more of their stuff, so it's not like any knockoffs from around the world. But the thing is, it's so unique. They can get armor, they can get weaponry, they can get cool leatherworking stuff, they can get paintings, you name it.
And demonstrations too.
Actually, yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can actually learn how to do your own chainmail if you like. Might take you 6 months, but you can learn how to do it. So next year we are looking to move to the Dorchester Fairgrounds. We love Woodstock, and it has nothing to do with that at all. In fact, we're still going to keep it called the Oxford Renaissance Festival because we are from Oxfordshire. That's why. That's where our queen is from. But no, we're doing it way more for aesthetics. They have such a beautiful grounds in Dorchester. Yeah, we just thought, you know what, it's time to do a little bit of a change and, see if that attracts more people.
How many people roughly come through?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a slowly growing thing. So the potential for the Renaissance Festival here is huge. But it's just it's a grind to get it to go. But once it does, I think people will keep coming out.
Where can we find more information?
Definitely at our website or Facebook page, and punch in Oxford Renfest and you'll find us there.
We're located downtown Woodstock, been open now for 18 years. We carry the dragons and the fairies and blades, as well as many other products like superheroes, John Deere, Coca-Cola, as well as dresses and purses and jewelry and wedding items. We always tend to say we love to shop, so when we go to the shows we get a little carried away.
So who's your clientele then?
People of all different ages. They come from everywhere, actually. We sell to little kids that have collections, as well all the way up into their 80s and 90s that collect. We normally carry what we call a wish book, and if somebody's looking for anything in particular, we just write down their name and phone number, what they're looking for, and we do our best to find it for them. So they literally come for everything. Our fairies are very, very popular. Each one is unique. Some of them have names. We're located at 512 Dundas Street in Woodstock, on the same block as Bank Montreal.
Our company is called Ring Crafts, and we make handmade chainmail jewelry and armor, which is what chainmail originally was, made up out of links of metal rings. And then we ended up branching out into jewelry because that's more available for everyday, both cost and practicality.
How did you learn how to do this type of artwork?
He taught me everything. We started dating, and I realized he had this really cool hobby, and then he taught me the weaves that he knew, and then there were a few weaves that he was like, oh yeah, that exists, but I don't like it, so now I make those weaves instead.
Is there a big audience for your type of artwork?
There is because of all the geeks like ourselves. A lot of people really like it because it's unique, even if they're not like, oh, I know what that is. It's like, wow, this is really unique stuff. And so the unique people and the nerds, we all kind of come together.
Where do they find you?
They can find us at our website, www.ringcrafts.com, and email us on there as well.
Well, we're here representing Hamilton as it is. We're a reptile rescue. We started off as a small local breeding company, and we actually progressed more with the reptile aspect, so the rescue aspect of everything. So a lot of reptiles that come in that are surrendered, neglected, or stuff that we've had to find out and go down and save, we've actually brought back to our care. We bring them into our facility. We try to make sure they're up to good health, and we do it all on our own terms. Like, we don't use vets or anything like that. And then we try to bring them out for shows, for educational awareness. And a lot of times we try to see if we can adopt the reptiles out to good homes.
I come in and I'm excited, I want to buy a snake, but I know nothing about snakes. What would you give as advice?
Some people are more, if they say they're more into the four-legged creatures, they're not into the snakes, then we recommend certain small beginners and let them know what to avoid and what not to avoid. And then make sure they know what kind of feedings, how often feed them, what to feed them, what size to feed them so they're not overfeeding them and power feeding them. Things like that can cause stress on reptiles, so rather today, if they want to enjoy the lifespan of the reptile, then they have more knowledge and more information, and that's what our biggest thing is, the education awareness.
And you take them to schools and you're teaching kids about them.
Yes, we have actually taken them to a few schools. We've done private birthday parties, private events. We've actually gone to local bars throughout Toronto and so on to not only just bring them down for the show aspect, but believe it or not, so many people come up and and you get the people that are so scared when they first see them. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're within 10 minutes of them talking to you, they're standing there, can't wait to put the snake on you. Then they want to come back 5 minutes later and do it again. So that's all the same aspect.
Not just snakes, you have other critters?
That's correct. We have different types of lizards as well. Stuff from savanna monitors, Argentine tegus, bearded dragons, leopard geckos. After 34 years of me having arachnophobia, I actually now own my first tarantula. The Renaissance Fair, believe it or not, came to us, and they just saw what we did, and they thought we would really be a big wonder for here. And they think it's great because of what we do. It's not so much that we're in it for the money, it's the fact that we're in it for the reptile themselves. We don't make the money, we're not trying to make money, we're trying to make supplies and restock for what we do for these guys.
How do they reach you?
They can reach us on several different ways. We have emails and by website on hamiltonballpythons.ca. They can reach us by email at hamiltonballpythons@hotmail.com, as well as Facebook. We do have a Facebook group as well.
You're watching FANatics.
us a little bit about what you do.
Jousting, you take the love of violence and horses and you put them together. It's like peanut butter and chocolate. It's a lot of fun. We partner with a horse, train them up, get them to love the sound of armor, teach them that it's okay to attack, as long they're not hurting another horse. It's pretty amazing to take an animal who is usually the prey and turn them into the predator. And when they love the horse, when Thunder starts to joust, he starts pawing, he throws his spit, he rears up, and he charges. And as soon as we pass our opponent to hit them, he starts to trot. Okay, I'm done. And then the crowd cheers, and he runs for the crowd. It's fun. It's, gives me a lot of energy, turns me into a superstar. So we dress up in full armor. Yeah. Yay! And we use lances with a 3-foot tip. That's a balsa tip. And we break it on our opponent. We wear really good armor. We wear like 14, 12 gauge stainless steel helmets because actually we have day jobs. I work with technology. I run a technology division for a financial services firm, and jousting keeps me out of jail. So.
But how did you train to become a jouster?
A lot of friends. You know what? Peer pressure. My ex-husband and I, we met a friend from Belgium on our honeymoon. We did sword fighting. We competed internationally sword fighting. And we met this gentleman, Fred Perot, in France. And said, when you come to America, stay at our house, eat our food, whatever. Come and we want to pay you back for this wonderful experience. And he's like, well, I have a joust in Canada. Can you come squire for us? And so, yes. So we came and we squired for him. And I was addicted. I sent my ex-husband off to jousting camp. He didn't want to go to jousting camp, but he had to go to jousting camp. And actually, he was an assistant coach for the TV show that they did, Full Metal Jousting.
What can you tell us about your horse?
Oh, Thunder? Oh my gosh. You know what? I've had some amazing horses, and our 24-year-old Belgian had passed away 5 years ago, and he was perfect jouster, loved jousting. He did dressage for years, but he came alive when he did jousting because he could charge to another horse. He loved scaring the other horse. They're in 2 lanes, so they're not going to hurt each other, but it's just funny to watch them play. They play with each other, and it's just kind of neat. They're like 16-year-old practical jokers, 16 or 1,700 pounds of practice. Well, he's about 2,100 pounds, so we had a chance to actually vet him out. The horses we had before, we already owned them, so we taught them how to joust. This horse, we had the opportunity to check to see how he reacted to poles, how he reacted to metal-on-metal sound, because that's a big one, how he reacted to banners. He could care less. He put them in his mouth, he threw them around, and he was really into playing games, and it was great. We could have had him jousting in a month. It's a very rare situation.
Are there a lot of female jousters?
So when I started, there were not a lot, and I was really discouraged by other females from trying to get into it. Well, they wanted to do it, and they're like, I really want to do it, but I'm crazy, So, and when I went to that first joust, there were a bunch of big guys, like 6'2", 6'3", 240, 300 pounds, and they're strong and muscular. When we showed up a day late, there were a bunch. Those are the guys that were still in the competition. But there was one Australian, one smaller Australian, Rod Walker, was my inspiration. I was like, if that guy can do it, I'm doing this. Little did I know he was a crazy, stuntman, but that's okay. I'm into the sport. I'm already in. I can't get out. The only injuries I've had, I can blame on myself. Equipment failure. You've really got to take good care of your equipment. Before you go on a trip, you got to put on your equipment. You got to check the buckles. You got to check the straps. So even with balsa, we're getting hit with about 250 pounds of pressure. Some of us also play with hard pine or cut pine, and that's about 400 to 600 pounds of pressure. So your armor's got to be ready for it. Now the armor I wear here, it's not that heavy. It's spring steel. My helmet's heavy, but because I want to protect my brain. But my next suit of armor is going to be about 120, 130 pounds. And that's for solid pine lances. It's for unhorsing, and it represents a German Realgeschlacht. It represents a different type of joust, and it takes training to do that. And you know what? You have to have good core strength. You're not going to just jump out there. A lot of sit-ups with 45-pound dumbbell, and
Which one of us is the man for the job?
The Messiah of the mud.
The dictator of the dirt.
Are you ready for
a mud show?
Mark, you got everything we need in a volunteer. You're big, you're strong, and you're my hero. The only thing you're missing is long, luscious locks.
Long, luscious locks. Got you covered.
Yeah, very quick.